Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's now time for this week's Unfiltered News. From the reality zone, where political correctness is not spoken here. Compiled by G. Edward Griffin and his editor Cassandra Anderson. Photo and humor by Scott. Scout is Jerome Glover and proofreader is Tom Parker. For this week, August 9th through the 15th, 2014. Remember all these. Let's get down to the humor comic this week. NSA aiming right at Uncle Scam. But have you got any terrorists? No, I haven't. Not real terrorists. They just know everything of your business and not the terrorist. Isn't that something? Anywho, let's get on with the unfiltered news for this week. Okay, video. Edward Snowden's latest revelation is called the Monster Mind. It is a computer program under development when Snowden was with the NSA intended to neutralize foreign cyber attacks entirely on its own and also launch digital relations automatically. Cyber attack on foreign governments are considered an act of war. Touch Vision, August 14th. Don't you know what they're doing? It's our government has become the Fourth Reich, and that's it. That's all you have to know. Anyways, the U.S. is sending 600 troops into Poland and the Baltic states that surround Russia. The official explanation is that this is to protect the Europeans from a Russian military threat. Putin says he will use strategically located nuclear missiles along its borders with Poland if Russia is attacked. The war drums beat louder and louder. Zero Hedge, August 14th. Yes, they're trying to start a new Cold War or World War III. It really doesn't matter to the banksters who spent your tax dollars building underground shelters for themselves. Don't you know? Oh, you haven't been paying attention. Okay. Well, you don't know what they're up to. Video. Pro-Russian separatist leaders are resigning after Ukraine crackdown on their separatist movement with violence and sanctions. Euronews, August 14th. And yes, they're going to take back their territory from the puppet government that Israel and America made with them. It's all going down the tubes. Oh yeah, video in Ferguson, Missouri. Violence continues to mount in response to the police shooting of an unarmed black 18-year-old. Police have used military-style tactics, have arrested journalists, and fired tear gas at Al Jazeera news van. Governor Jane Nixon has replaced the local police with the state troopers. CNN, August 14th. Here's something that you haven't seen in a long time. Fascism showing itself. When you force them out, they show themselves. They shot this black man. He was unarmed. He was a teenager to begin with. And they're now trying to link him up to being some type of bank robber or something. Something that take your mind off of the real issue. The police have gone rogue. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're up to. That's what's happening. Okay. Several Christian groups are criticizing world leaders for ignoring the genocide of Christians in Iraq and across the Middle East by ISIS. Coptic Christian Bishop Amba Surreal of Australia harshly criticized the ruthless murder of children and the beheading of civilians by the radical Muslim fundamentalists and warns that it will spread across the world. CNS News, August 13th. Well, yeah, but ISIS was one of those groups created by the U.S. to go after its enemies, and they decided, after what happened in Afghanistan, there are places that they just take the weapons and turn them on them. See what happens when you have a fascist state and it doesn't control its dogs, and the dogs turn on it? Oh yeah, you get blowback, and that's what this is called, blowback. You go out there and arm all these radicals that are supposedly U.S. sponsored, and then they turn on the sponsor, U.S., and you get blowback in Israel as well. Israel's going to feel the bite of this dog also. Anyways, Edward Snowden says the NSA accidentally caused the 2012 internet blackout in Syria when they were installing software on the country's main router. Syria's civil war was in its infancy, and both sides blamed each other instead of the U.S. NSA people who were running the project joked that if they got caught, they would blame it on Israel. IB Times, August 13th. And so, see, blowback, more blowback. Understand that. Video. Russia sent a 208 truck convoy with 18,000 tons of humanitarian supplies to the Ukraine, but the Ukraine has refused to allow passage across the border unless handled by the Red Cross. The Ukrainians say that they fear the shipments may contain weapons destined for pro-Russian separatists in Ukraine, which is a reasonable concern. The Russians have rejected Red Cross involvement and have turned back. CNN, August 13th. And even if they checked them out, all they had was blankets and food. And they wouldn't go let the Communist Cross come involved with it anyways. I mean, I remember seeing posters where I used to work at this company, and they had all these posters up about the Red Cross, and they all said comrade and countrymen, and you just think of what Red Cross really is. It's communism. Legal business. Next, legal business that the government finds objectionable or being seized out of business by having their bank accounts terminated. Under pressure from the feds, banks increasingly are denying service to gun stores, pawn shops, coin traders, home-based charities, and short-term loan businesses. Four small business owners who are victims of this process tell their stories. Daily Signal, August 12th. The government finds them objectionable, so they're being demonized because they don't go along with the story of the government. That's not right. The government is not a ruler over us. Remember, we rule the government, not the other way around. We are the government. The people are the government, not the government. The government is our servant, not the other way around. Come on, wake up. Understand that, constitutionally and otherwise. Makes me mad when people lay back asleep and don't wake up to this. Video. Ferguson, Missouri riots and looting continued following the killing by police of an 18-year-old black male. The victims are not armed and may have had his hands in the air in surrender when he was shot. Russia Today, August 12th. And that's what the video, that's what they're saying in the videos I've seen. That he has hands up saying, I surrender, I surrender. Boom, boom. Well, that's the end of him. The sign of surrender means shoot me, apparently now, under the New World Order. Government under Israeli trained police force. Oh yeah, those trained by the Mossad, don't you know? U.S. Ben and Jerry's Ice Cream Company is trumpeting their move away from GMO ingredients. Meanwhile, other companies are doing so more quietly to test the water of public demand. These brands include plain Cheerios and grape nuts from General Mills and 80 items from Target under their own brand names. NPR posted August 12th. See, GMO is losing the battle. They're losing it big time because people are realizing if you put pesticide into a crop that resists pesticide, it's going to absorb that like a sponge, and you're going to be eating the pesticide from what it offsprings, which is corn or whatever grain is coming out of them, fruit or whatever. It's not going to work. You're eating that poison, and it's like Agent Orange. They're coming out with an Agent Orange additive. Do you want to eat Agent Orange? Really? Really? I mean, just talk to a Vietnam veteran who had Agent Orange. You don't want nothing to do with that. You really, really don't. Okay. Video. Wisconsin. The Milwaukee County Sheriff and 4 deputies are being sued by Tanya Wikers for saying her near-fatal car accident was her own fault when it was later proven by a surveillance camera to be the fault of the police car that rolled over through the stop sign. The officer said she was drunk and arrested her, but lab tests showed no alcohol or drugs in her system. Her neck was broke in 4 places, requiring fusion with steel rods. The sheriff tried to bill her off for damages to the police car. You imagine these fucking police officers doing this to you who pay their taxes and through taxes pay their paycheck? Fox 6 posted August 11th. These people are out of control. They're trying to say, I mean, this one guy just happened today or yesterday was an innocent bystander or thing. The police thought he was a felon. They confiscated him. He was beaten by them, and because he was able to prove that he wasn't what he was by social security number and a middle name of this felon that they were looking for, so they beat him up. They splattered blood all over themselves. And now they're saying, you destroyed my uniform. And that's a felony, not felony, but it's the destruction of personal government property because his blood got splattered on them from them beating him. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? What's next? What's next? What's next? I'm almost ready to do Drinking with Bob. I mean, it's just, what's next? The police just keep on doing this stuff, getting themselves off of anything they do to you, the citizen, for not anything that's criminal, and saying, you're the criminal, we are the police, and look, you harmed my uniform, and therefore you destroyed government property. And now they're trying to find this guy for that after they beat him up and he wasn't even guilty. That's insane. That's really, really insane. This is the same type of crap that's going on constantly. And this is unreal. It's unreal. It shouldn't be allowed in America. It should not be allowed. I don't know what's going on in America, but this should not be allowed. Okay, a video. Political coup is underway in Iraq to overthrow President al-Maliki. He is not going quietly, and many expect him to rebel against the political coalition against him. U.S. has given diplomatic support to the new regime. Euronews, August 11. I heard he was stepping down because they forced him out, but who knows? Tens of thousands of Yazidis and Christians are fleeing northern Iraq after being told that they must convert or die. Euronews, August 10th. A related issue. Video. ISIS has taken control of Mosul, or the Mosul Dam. The dam is strategically important because it can be used to flood towns ISIS is trying to control, or conversely, water and electricity can be denied to large areas. Reuters, August 10th. Remember, ISIS was put together by the U.S. They took up the arms that the U.S. supported to them and turned them on the U.S. government, and are moving across the land into Iraq, and the Iraq government that was put in there by the U.S., they're dropping their weapons and running away, and the ISIS is coming along just picking them up. Are they really that bad? Who knows? For sure. Time will tell. I think they're freedom fighters fighting for the Middle East, but who knows? And whatever religion they're claiming to be is to be questioned because it comes out of Western news. And we don't know for sure. We don't know where ISIS is coming from. We don't. Individually, unless we're over there personally seeing it, I don't believe anything the news says. They got blue screens and green screens, and they put them up and say, I'm here right now. I'm reporting on this. Look behind me. Boom, boom. And see that? That's all there. And it turns out they're in a green room or a blue room in New York City, and nothing is happening that you're seeing. Okay. The New York Post has reported that the EPA ignores scientists and the public, which means it has its own agenda not related to science or public benefit. The real news here is not the information in the article, but the fact that mainstream media is reporting it. Again, like I said, mainstream media. New York Post, August 10th. And it's like global warming. It doesn't exist. We're going into a mini ice age, and they're trying to blame that on people. Sure they can. Sure they can get away with that bull. They already said that was global warming causing everything, and it was people. And now it's getting cold. Oh, it's people still causing it. We gotta get money out of your pocket and ours. Please give it up. And we're not doing it. No, we're not. Okay. New York activists and 9/11 victim family members obtained 100,000 signatures to place an initiative on the ballot to investigate the collapse of the high-rise building on 9/11. The New York City Council illegally refused to accept the initiative, saying the city will not waste taxpayer money by humoring conspiracy theorists. In response, the activists filed a lawsuit against the city council. Liberty Beat, August 9th. Oh yeah, when Building 7 just falls in its footprint, and it was the most heavily built building in the area. I mean, I'm talking a building that could take a nuclear blast and still stand, and the little fires made it all fall down. I'm not buying it either. I'm not buying it either. They're a bunch of fucking crooks, and they always will be in the government. Oh. Russia and Iran have struck a $20 billion oil deal. Russia will help Iran market its own oil and assets in building power generating systems. This will help Iran to bypass the effects of the Western trade sanctions. If Iran increases its oil output, it could or it would, challenge the OPEC cartel that fixes oil prices. The U.S. and OPEC will certainly challenge this agreement. Telegraph posted August 9th. Now the oil companies are upset. Again, Iran's going away from the petrodollar, along with 80 other countries around the world, with Russia and China. They're all saying, screw you. We're not going to buy our oil or sell it in petrodollars. Therefore, go to hell. And we're getting ready to collapse at any time. And, it's not the American people's fault. It's our government criminal elements of greed in Wall Street who don't give a damn about, the people on Main Street. They don't care about us. We're the second-hand garbage to them. Don't you understand yet? Oakland, California, a police officer who was suspended in 2011 after he threw a flashbang grenade to land next to an unconscious protester has been reinstated with back pay. The officer, Robert Roche, was not held accountable because of the Nuremberg defense. He was just following orders. See, he was just following orders and threw that, and he's not guilty of that. And the Nuremberg court, they executed Nazis for this type of stuff because they were just saying, we just followed orders. Well, that's not an excuse. Following orders, you should know better than to follow orders like that. But his supervisor who gave the order was promoted. Huh? Are we in new Nazi Germany, the Fourth Reich? This must be the Fourth Reich we're in. This now claim it. This is definitely the Fourth Reich. Before I just said, maybe we're in the Fourth Reich. Oh no, this is the Fourth Reich. We are the new Nazis in the world. And we'll come down just like them, and the American flag will be damned just like the swastika flag. Don't you know? And if you don't want that to happen, you better step up and say something. Step up and do something. But his superior who gave the order was promoted. Roche has killed 3 people while on duty, with one of the killings costing taxpayers $500,000 in a settlement. Police State USA, August 9th. If you don't understand where we're at, then you don't know, you haven't been paying attention to history, because history always repeats itself if you don't pay attention to it, and it's now coming back. We have went from the Third Reich of Germany to the Fourth Reich of America. That is cuckoo. That is absolutely cuckoo coming on us. They're nuts. These people are crazy that's running everything. And you should know that. Just for heads up. Video. Maryland. The city of Baltimore is imposing curfews on children under 17 due to high rate of violence and crime. If children violate the curfew, their parents face a fine up to $500. The mayor says this is to protect the children. Tell us here what you think about this law. CBS News posted August 9th. And they got a link right there so you can go in and say what you think about charging the parents for your children who may sneak out of the house during the night and go out after curfew or caught after curfew and they're being fined $500. Does that sound like a money scam or something where they're going to make money for themselves? $500 a kid? Think about that. If 1,000 kids do this, ooh, that adds up, doesn't it? $500,000. Yeah. Think about that. Thinking? Or you're not thinking. Anyways, a South Dakota woman is suing the town of Perry, the former police chief, and 4 police officers for tasering an 8-year-old daughter. They tasered an 8-year-old daughter. The child was having a tantrum and holding a kitchen paring knife. A paring knife. But the mother thinks that the 4 combat-trained police officers should have been able to safely disarm her 70-pound child. Tell us here what you think, CNN, August 9th. And they want your opinion on that too. Now, a child, 8 years old, with a paring knife. You know how long? It's like maybe 3 inches long, maybe 4 inches. And she weighs 70 pounds. Don't you think that 3 270-pound gorillas can take that away from her without getting harmed? I mean, really. I mean, they got the bully clubs or whatever, and they could have easily deflected. I mean, what are they? They're not taught martial arts. They'll be able to deflect something like that when it's swung at them and anything. What is this? Idiots? We got idiots running the police? Oh, we got retards is what we got running the police. What we got. They can't disarm an 8-year-old with a paring knife. A paring knife is a very small knife. I got one right here. I can measure this, but I swear it's under 4 inches long. Maybe just near 4 inches. I'm holding it in my hand, and I'm going, you know, in my hands, this is a deadly weapon. Because I know how to use it. An 8-year-old know how to use this as a weapon? Give me a frickin' break. Okay, as many as 730,000 Ukrainians have fled into Russia to escape the civil war. Pro-Russian separatists fired on unarmed Ukrainian soldiers who have sought to shelter in Russia but were crossing the border back into Ukraine. Reuters, August 9. Santa Cruz, California. Anti-Agenda 21 activist Michael Shaw obtained a court injunction against Alameda County's prohibition of billboards based on their content. The content in this case was the expose of the regional Agenda 21 project to limit land development within the county. Freedom Advocates posted August 9th. And that's another thing. They're trying to take your land away. These people, control freaks, are out there trying to do it. They're collectivists. They want to control everything and have you as a peasant on your own land. Or they have already done that, but they want you not to have any land and just be a peasant. Okay. Let's cool down for a moment and look at this picture. Those truck painters never give up. That's pretty wild. Click to enlarge. Okay, here's the analysis for this week, and here's the first one that's collectible in the analysis. You know, identifying historical facts and trends that help to place the news into perspective. Here's one right here with a star, a collectible. If poorly protected power grid went down, we could face meltdowns like Fukushima. At 124 U.S.-based nuclear power stations, 124 based nuclear power stations, I'll repeat that twice, all at the same time, do you imagine? Can you imagine? What would you do if you lived down the street from a nuclear power plant that suddenly went Fukushima and had a China meltdown? Nuclear reactors have backup generators to drive water pumps needed to cool their fuel rods, but most of them have enough conventional fuel to run the pumps for only a few weeks. An EMP or X-class solar flare could knock out the grid, literally for years. Years! I'm talking taking out these giant transformers that make everything possible, and they take years to make. They have to be wound and everything. They're done over in where else? Indonesia, I should say, over in Asia. We don't make them here. You think we make those here? You haven't been paying attention, have you? We don't make nothing. We're just consumers. Oh, Listen to the first link in this article to hear a statement by Janet Napolitano, former Secretary of U.S. Home Security, that it's not a question of if but when. Notice that she calls it a 9/11 type event. If you are among those who are convinced that authorities at the highest levels not only knew that 9/11 was going to happen, but did nothing to prevent it, this statement will send shivers down your spine, because the authorities today have been aware of the vulnerability of the power grid for at least 2 decades, yet have done nothing to protect it, nothing to double, triple ground these major transformers. Oh no, they haven't done it. And Napolitano is telling us that it's going to happen. Yeah, she's just saying it's going to happen, not if but when. Now remember that. So you better be ready to go back into 1800s and be able to farm, be able to survive on your own, be able to I mean, really, you're going to have to be able to do all this. You're going to have to be able to skin a buck on your own. You better be ready for that. At least I know all this stuff. I came from the last generation that I got to be taught that and watched how it was done. And I'm in my 50s. So anyone younger than me probably doesn't have a clue of what's coming down the pipe. And they're going to find out the hard way. For more information on this topic, learn about the documentary now in production called Black Start. Common Sense Show, August 15th. You just gonna have to be ready for it, because when that happens, you're gonna be in the dark, literally, and you're not gonna know what to do without an iPhone, without a computer, without any of the technological things that I'm well familiar with. I'm one of the in-betweeners who knew the old ways and the new ways, and I'm in between. And well, you're going to be seeking out my knowledge real fast, and others like me. Okay, video. Law enforcement agencies across the U.S. are supplied with military-grade weapons, which has led to an increase in the violence against citizens. The federal military is training local police, and federal agencies are supplying them with funding and policy directives, all of which is leading to the creation of a standing national army that is trained to control the people rather than to protect them. John Whitehead explains what citizens must do to stop this race to tyranny. Russia Today, August 14th. You got to see this, because if the power goes out and everything, it's going to be a tyranny. Believe me, you're going to be taken down. You're going to be rounded up. You're going to be sent in these camps. They're going to send in viruses. You're going to all die. Unless you're smart and keep away from all that, it's all over for you. Oh well. Just a heads up. Heads up. It's coming down. Big heavy thing gonna smack you in the head, kill you. Oh well. Author William Ingadell explains how Russia can turn the U.S. and EU sanctions against it into a benefit. The primary benefits may be greater trade in agricultural products with Russia's key allies, Brazil, India, China, and South Africa. Also, Russia's food is healthier because it is non-GMO. Imagine that. And has far less pesticides. Imagine that. Chemicals and preservatives added. Russia Today, August 14th. Now they're here trying to kill us off. Over there, they're trying to spare their citizens because they realize they're going to be the only living race on the planet after everything's said and done. We're not taking precautions here. Oh no. Oh no. They're fattening us up and killing us off. And that's about it. Video. Ron Paul advocates stopping all U.S. military action in Iraq, including sending weapons to the Kurds. He says that otherwise even more people will suffer and no solutions will ever be found. He is incensed by the war hawks, cannot see that their policies have failed. He concludes that this is yet another battle over oil. And it is. This is battle over greed. RT, August 12th. And that's what it is. It's over greed. It's over money junkies. People who are hooked on money like a heroin addict and need to be put in a clinic, a rehab, just like them, to get them off the money. The more money they make, the higher they get. Don't you understand how that works? They've even proven that. They've proven that the receptors in the mind that are accepted to cocaine are the same as the money junkies, the people that want more money. The more they get, these receptors light up. It's the same receptors as cocaine receptors in their brains. And I don't know, you gotta start waking up or we're all gonna die if you don't all wake up as a mass. We all have to say no to them. And this is only the 1%. This is like, maybe 3,000, maybe 5,000 people in the world running the whole thing. And we got to tell them out of 7 billion, almost 7 billion people, no. And shut them down. That's why they're trying to kill us off. There's more of us than there are of them, and they're getting scared. Because their junkyism is making them paranoid. Just like a drug addict. Come on, think about it. Like a heroin addict, cocaine addict, they get paranoid. I would say they're more like a person on speed. They're getting that paranoia of the speed addict. Oh, man. Pastor Chuck Baldwin analyzes a study that shows why Christian ministries avoid discussing politics and current events. Almost all of them say the Bible instructs them in these matters, but they do not want to be controversial because that would diminish donations and interfere with the building a successful church, which they define from a materialistic perspective, not a spiritual one, like Gandhi or others who were promised. See, if they're out to make money and get donations, and they're not using those donations back onto the people in the church who have problems, say your house burns down, and they're supposed to save all this money they get from their... Now, they're only supposed to take a little bit of that to survive on, and the rest of it's stored away for all the people in the church. Now, when all the people in the church, somebody has a house fire, it burns their house down, there's money there from the church to rebuild their house. This is how it's supposed to work. But it doesn't anymore. And that's just what I'm saying. Chuck Baldwin Live posted August 9th. The church is supposed to be like your insurance company without going to the insurance companies. Do you understand? They are the insurance companies spiritually, and they will help you out when someone in your family dies. They need funeral costs. The church will pay for it, and so on and so forth. This is how the church used to work. It doesn't work that way anymore. Oh no. What do you think? What do you think you're in? Living in America? Hell, you're living in the fascist world of America. Anyways, video. Political analysis F. William Ingendahl gives a wide range analysis of the chaos in Iraq. The most important element in this overview is that the terrorist group called ISIS is a language that goes back to the CIA. Of course, like the toilet, Al-Qaeda, and its support for the Mujahideen. Ingendahl says that the ISIS is still assets of the CIA and that its mission is to destabilize the region to make it easier for the U.S. government to control the movement of oil and keep it from reaching China. He says that if CIA's covert findings were stopped, ISIS would dry up in 72 hours. be aware that this report is presented by Russia Today, which is biased towards the Leninist world, but we believe that Engendal's observations about ISIS are correct. Russia Today, August 9th. In other words, not everything that RT says is correct, but a lot of it is, and you got to pay attention if you have a analytical mind to know what's the wheat from the chaff, and this is the wheat, not the chaff. Okay, that's the news for this week. That's it. And this is a great photo. Now, when you have a parrot up against a kitty cat, and the cat's not eating the parrot and feathers flying, you know you have a good relationship, that this is the way the world should be. When the lamb lays down next to the lion and so forth. I mean, this is that type of picture. I mean, and here's the humor for this week. Here is another picture. It says new version of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Three Bears. Never mind. Okay, and then you got the Unfiltered forum. Why would Hamas do things to damage their own cause? They wouldn't. They would not do this. Hamas would not do what Israel is saying that they're doing. The same that anywhere else. Putin's not going to do anything that's going to make him look bad in the world light. And so, whoever's saying he's doing something bad, and whoever they're saying Hamas is doing bad, are really the ones who are bad, because they're the ones pointing the fingers. And you got to look at the finger pointers that are pointing out there, and you'll understand that who the bad guys really are is the ones that are pointing the fingers and doing the bad deeds. And Russia is sitting back going, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. And Hamas is going, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. Why would we? Syria is doing the same thing when that chemical attack happened. Why would he do that when they had these people, inspectors coming over there the very same day? That would give him a bad look into the world's light and bring the world down upon him. They wouldn't do that. That's insanity, and they're not insane. Not that much. Just a little, but they wouldn't do that. Only the people pointing the fingers at them are that insane. They go, look, he's bad. Look. As they stab the people in Palestinians, I say Israel. Well, of course. Israel's the one stabbing the blades in the back of them all. Anyways, as you get down through here, we have all this. And, I mean, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. Therefore, Israel is the duck. They're the ones doing all this evilness they're claiming others are doing. And it doesn't take that in America the same way. And it's just wrong what's going on. I can't help it but to say that. I mean, I love America, I love American people, but I hate the government because the government's doing wrong. And the Constitution tells me to do that. Our Constitution actually tells us to fight against a tyrannical government if it's acting like one. And ours is acting like a tyrannical government. Therefore, we must act against it. Oh well. Until next time, I want to just say to you, be good or be good at. Have a wonderful weekend. And fight against this. Question authority. Always question authority. Because apparently they need to be questioned. Until next time, good day.